Hello, Swivelheads. It's Greg Allison, Swivelhead News. My friends, the potential for nuclear war may be greater than we actually anticipated. Now, I'm going to show you some articles that kind of allude to that, and I'm going to talk about it a little bit more in some other contexts too. So, batten your hatches, guys. If you don't have enough to worry about, and you need to see the video I just posted on my Green Greg's channel about, worse than 9/11. Yeah. Guys, I'm moving content over here because that video already got this demonetized right off the bat. Too many of those kind of videos puts my channel over there at risk, so I've got to really watch what I do over there. I may have to just stop talking news. I don't know, guys, on this platform. Holy smoke, guys. Anyway, let's go in. I'm going to show you some articles, and we're going to get right to it. We're going straight for the meat here. And I'm going to update the chat. See, we're going to see the chat room too, guys. Medvedev. Now, Medvedev is always making threats. There's nothing new with him making potential nuclear threats. But what he said this time is, it rings true. And it was a lot more somber. And I think he meant it this time. And Putin is also kind of reiterating this. But this is a little different from what we've been seeing in the past. He gave some rationale which really fits. That's the scary thing about this particular article. So, or this claim that Medvedev made. If you don't know, Medvedev was once, he's the only other president in the Putin era. He's been president of Russia. You know, Yeltsin was the first president after the Soviet Union fell apart. Then it went to Putin, and it went for a bit for Medvedev. Medvedev is the number 2 guy on the Russian Security Council. He's only number 2 to Putin himself. So he's definitely in there with Putin real tight. So much so he actually got to serve as president under, while Putin wasn't able to under the Constitution they had till Putin got it amended in any event. So what we're talking about here is, let's see, where is the particular quote I'm looking for? I might just have to say it out. Anyway, one thing that's been said, we're talking about all these other countries and their leaders talking about we must be prepared for war with Russia. And his response was, if God forbid such a war happens, it will not follow the scenario of the special military operations, what they're doing in Ukraine. He says, and so he says, it will not be fought in the trenches with the use of artillery and armored vehicles, drones, and electronic warfare. He says this will not be fought this way at all. And let's see, he gave a reason. Let's see if he stated here. Yeah, here we go. Given the incompatibility of our military capabilities, we will simply have no choice. The response will be asymmetrical. To protect the territorial integrity of our country, ballistic missiles and cruise missiles with special warheads will be used. This is stated in our doctrinal military documents and is well known to anyone. And this is the notorious apocalypse, the end of everything. Now, on my Green Greg's channel, many months ago, I went to the Kremlin's website and I pulled up the documents that talked about what would be their conditions for using nuclear war. And this is definitely it. In fact, you could say that the hits on their the strikes against some of their nuclear triad facilities also qualify. So the red line has actually been crossed already. They just aren't taking action on it yet. That's the scary thing. Now, maybe that means folks on the American side are taking that for granted, thinking, okay, yeah, we pushed them here. It's okay. We can push a little bit more and a little bit more. But somewhere out there, there's probably a real threshold. But what he's saying here, in essence, is we don't have the type of weapons to be able to fight NATO on a conventional warfare basis. He says we don't have that. And that rings true, especially given all the ammunitions they've been expending with the war in Ukraine, the special operation, excuse me. in Ukraine. They don't have it. So if they get into war with NATO, see, you got to remember, it was the NATO philosophy back in the Cold War was that the Soviet Union came at them. The Soviet Union had so much more troops, tanks, and artillery than NATO had, that NATO would use, pretty much right off the bat, strategic nuclear weapons. That was a policy of NATO at the time. Now, we've taken back a lot of our strategic nuclear weapons. We used to have thousands over there now. I think we got a couple hundred maybe now. So nowhere near what we had. Now, we may be about to move some more over there, and they're really getting uptight about that. So, but Russia's basically just come out and says, hey, we can't do it any other way. But guess what? That shoe fits another foot too. Let me show you this. USA shifts toward possible usage of nuclear weapons. Why? The same reason, because we gave so much of our stuff to Ukraine, in the eventual sense, we're low too. Also, we don't really have that many troops in NATO, to be honest. We got 90,000 on this steadfast defender exercise right now. We could put some more over there, but not enough really to counter a full-fledged Russian onslaught, probably, unless Russia still got a bunch of them in Ukraine. So it says here, talking about the decline in the Navy, but it's it's not just the Navy. It's mainly our for a war with Ukraine. War with Russia. It would be our all the weapons that for the army that we've sent to Ukraine. That our conventional weapons are have been reduced dramatically. And here it says, unless we dramatically increase those, we're in trouble, but we won't be able to do it in any short order. So it says the U.S. faces and increases the risk, not having these, increases the risk of U.S. use of nuclear weapons, according to a report from the Theater of War published in the Essence of Time, issue 571. And apparently the Heritage Foundation was involved in this, talking about the state of the U.S. armed forces. So that's what they're saying. So this is not only true for Russia, it's true for NATO, the United States. We're not quite up to it. I'm having an ocular migraine right now, which is like, I'm like looking through a kaleidoscope of bright shimmering lights. So it makes it kind of hard for me to see what I'm doing here, guys. So that hits me every now and then. I got one right now. So I'm having a hard time seeing the screen. Anyway. And if that's not enough, there's this old saw we've been seeing for a while, but the wretchedness rhetoric up, and it's probably more true than not. Iran is closer than ever to a nuclear bomb. Why this is a global threat? Yeah, this is from a Christian website here, some Christian type analysis. But guys, this is, you know what I've said, the fact that Iran's got suddenly bolder than it had been, especially when they launched missiles directly from Iran into Pakistan, into Syria. They were showing us then that it's a different game. They weren't just using proxy forces. To do that, they had to be bolder than ever before. And to have that kind of boldness, they must have something in their hip pocket, or being really close to having something in their hip pocket. And it was said about several days ago that they were within a week of being able to produce one. And I've had the suspicion that they're making a mad dash for the goal line, and that may be the whole reason for all these proxy wars that where they've enabled Hamas and Hezbollah and the Houthis to act out, was to put our eyes over there instead of on them. So maybe they're taking advantage of this to make their little home run, which their home run or touchdown would be to get the bomb. So they may be making a move on that. This might be what it's all about. Yeah, Jacob, I hear that. So the other thing is that, we'll talk about that toward the end. I don't know, it's a dangerous platform to be talking here on some of these things. So guys, if that doesn't get you in mind of prepping, you need to think about it real hard. If you go to prepwithgregs.com, prepwithgreg.com, right now, a $700 offer for a 1-year supply of emergency food. And you're probably going to need several years if we have a nuclear winter. So, guys, this is like 165, 67 cents a month, something like that. Everybody's saying, oh, this stuff's expensive. Not when you look at what you're really paying for a month for this stuff. Over 2,000 calories a day, 22 different varieties, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. This is a deal to make you winner, guys, in terms of long-term storage, because you can bury this stuff. So, I did a video about martial law. I think it's put that on my Green Griggs channel, guys. So if they invoke the National Defense Authorization Act and you got a lot of stuff stored, they could come take it. If Billy Bob down the road don't beat them to it. So that's a good reason to have something you can bury somewhere. That's a good thing about these buckets. You could bury them, or just they're a lot easier to hide in places you would not ordinarily store food. And you don't have glass jars. Now, hey, canned food. You grow garden canned food. Yeah, amen. Do that. But you need something you can store. If you're not gardening already, don't have a bunch of food stored, this is a quick way to get to it. And it's got these sealed pouches within these sealed buckets. So that makes it a lot easier to do. And these are lightweight too, guys. So, and you can find water purification, a lot of other supplies in here. Yeah, they got this water purifier on sale right now, $279. Guys, if you go to Amazon, the closest thing on Amazon to that I found was, okay, they reduced the price. That was for something. They just knocked it down. See, it was $445 when I was here last time. Maybe they're getting some heat from my Patriot Supply. They knocked it down to $385, which is still nearly double the price of the other one I just showed you. So yeah, check prepwithgreg.com and just look through, hit my Patriot Supply store logo and see what else is in there. But do go, if you're going to go to my Patriot Supply, go through prepwithgreg.com, because it won't cost you a penny more, but it'll help me out. Anyway, this article here said the U.S. should not count on NATO to deter China. Well, that's already pretty obvious. And stuff, macaroni. Yeah, I'm going back like Biden here. He's still talking to Mitterrand and other people that's passed away. But no, that's what made me think of Mitterrand. So anyway, macaroni, the president of France, Macron, I call him macaroni, which you can tell I'm not exactly fond of the guy. He and Trudeau are a little too close together for my taste. All students of Klaus, of course. But anyway, yeah, he's made a lot of statements and tried to cozy up to China. So no, we can't count on NATO to deter China, because China is not necessarily there. They don't have a dog in that fight per se, unless we evoke Article 5, because maybe China attacks us, but by that time it's probably going to be too late. I don't think the European countries are going to be able to do a lot to help us out, except for possibly Great Britain, the United Kingdom. And they seem to be involved in it. But they got their interest out in that area too. So, yeah, we could be in a world of hurt. We get into it with China. Now, here's the crazy stuff. They've been doing simulations for what would happen if they put AI in charge of the nuclear weapons, and they're finding the AI launches them. And it gives crazy excuses like, why did you do that? And one of the cases, the Chat GPT model says it wanted peace in the world. So it launches the nukes. I guess they figured after all the nukes were launched, it'd be peace in the world. Yikes, guys. If you don't remember, back about a week or two ago, I showed you guys an article where it said that China and Russia are putting AI into the decision-making process for launching their nukes. And I asked the question, what could go wrong with that? Well, here's the answer. This is why this is nuke war news tonight. I mean, you look at the prospects for Russia and the United States finding that nuke war might be the only way they can engage each other. And then you're looking at China and Russia wanting to put AI in the systems. And what our simulations we've been running with AI, it's all too often in those simulations just decide to launch everything. Reminds me of a movie I saw when I was a kid back in the 70s, in which Russia and the Soviet Union and the United States put big computers in charge of their missiles, thinking it would bring peace. And indeed, it resulted in World War. Everything got launched. So, yeah, that was projected back in the 70s. And here we are today finding that may be the case. And you got to remember, too, the Russians have a dead hand switch. If they lose contact with Moscow, if the system loses contact with Moscow, if it detects the nukes going off in Russia, it launches everything. So all this talk about the United States putting a decapitation strike on Russia, Moscow, Putin, strikes me as being rather close to insanity. But hey, what I know, I'm just some poor dumb rocket scientist. Yikes, guys. Oh, Lordy. And what I tell you last, just a little bit ago on Green Greg's channel, I was talking about the fact that I had shown y'all many months ago. I went to the Kremlin's own website and looked at what was their criteria for launching nuclear weapons, and tax on their nuclear triad was one of the reasons they might launch. Well, look, this massive explosion hits Russian plant making nuclear capable ICBMs. You know, some of those drone attacks also took out nuclear capable bombers of Russia. So this red line's been crossed. What is going to be what really makes Russia decide to do something? Well, if we evoke the dead hand switch, you get the answer. You don't want to do that. Don't push the dead hand switch, guys. We got some people in D.C. who I really question their sanity. The only island we want to live on would be Australia. New Zealand might be a good place too, but you know, China would be licking her chops for those places, big, huge islands with very few people to defend it. That's why Australia is joining AUKUS, by the way. And probably New Zealand might decide to be a part of it too. They haven't yet. But guys, this is something to make you think. We're really getting close to crossing some red lines. We got that steadfast defender exercise, the biggest in the, since the Cold War going on right now. Of course, U.S. and allies warn Chinese cyber attacks are preparing for war, or the cyber attackers. So this article makes a supposition. The whole reason all these Volt Typhoon and other cyber situations are being set up, the attacks, a lot of smaller attacks have been occurring. They may be dry runs for something bigger. According to the sheriff video I just showed you guys on Green Greg's. And by the way, that video got demonetized right off the bat. I got to be careful over there because I get too many of those demonetized. They're going to demonetize that channel and maybe even take it down. I got to be very careful. I thought I was being careful in that video, and it wasn't quite on there. I tell you, you can't tell where the boundaries are, what you discuss on here. I think any news now will get you in trouble. That's why I'm moving stuff over here on this channel. Anyway, that's my anchor channel. I don't want to lose it. I'm really worried about that. So, guys, seriously, U.S. allies and warning China, warning that these guys are actually, the whole purpose for these cyber attacks and setup of things like Volt Typhoon and to occupy all our critical infrastructure is a preparation for war, just in case we get into a war with China. And of course, we know it's not just cyber attacks. I showed you guys in the last video I did on Green Greg's, just posted why we better expect a lot of sleeper cell activity, lots of sleeper cell activity, like many 9/11s. Watch that video, and you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So Paul Craig Roberts. Now he's coming here and published an article citing this guy Steven Starr. He's just wrote a book telling you guys what I've been telling you for over 5 years here. Yeah, about the nuclear high altitude electromagnetic pulse. How if we just spent 4% of what we spend on the military budget, we could harden our grid. But instead, we're blowing our money everywhere else. And then this makes a case that every time Congress has brought it up, it's been shot down. Every time it's come up in state legislatures, it got shot down because the power grid industry fights any attempt for them to do their job. The power grid industry has spent more of your ratepayer money with K Street lawyers in Washington, D.C. fighting hardening the grid than it would have took them to harden the grid in the first place. What a traversity. Yikes. So this talks about how it talks about the E1 pulse. It's not talking about the E3. You better worry about the E3. That's what we get you from the sun. So these are all, take out the loss of those high voltage. This is like something I would tell you guys right here, right up the bat. Maybe this Steven Starr has been listening to, because it also talks about the nuclear power plants losing their ability to keep the fuel rods cool, especially even the spent fuel rods, and the food distribution systems, the sanitation system. All this stuff will be gone, guys. This is like right out of many videos that I have shared with you guys. So on my Green Griggs channel about the risk of an EMP. It's real. And just one device could take our nation down completely. One nuke could do it. That's all it takes. So either that or direct kinetic attacks or cyber attacks. But you know what the late great Dr. Peter Vincent Pry used to teach was that an attack on the United States would be multi-pronged. Expect EMP, expect direct kinetic attacks on the transformers and cyber attacks too, all three. And you might have EMPs coming at you from many different directions, many sources. It might be a lot more than just the one. See my balloon video about balloons as an EMP platform. Watch my video I did with Stacy Zavisky about the prospects for where she had a vision where there were two missiles fired from Venezuela that EMP'd the United States East Coast in the middle of the United States. And she didn't know what an EMP was. She came to me asking, what was this? Hey, Rodney, thank you, sir. Salute to you. You was late eating dinner. All right. Well, thank you, sir. I appreciate the super chat. Thank you, Rodney. I'll have a sip of coffee to you. Salute. Anyway, guys, let's move on. Well, the Philippines are blustered in their defense in the strategic Luzon Strait because that's one of the choke points that China could be contained with. And China's been really griping about the Philippines trying to protect areas that's within their internationally recognized economic zone. The stuff that's inside of the Filipino exclusive economic zone, which has been claimed by China. So China is acting like, well, this, you know, they're affected areas of our national sovereignty. Who said it was their sovereignty? Only they said that, and nobody else agrees with that, including the treaty that China signed, the Law of the Sea Treaty. But what's it mean for the Chinese to sign a treaty? Nothing. Go ask the Hong Kongers, and you'll find out. Treaty signed by those guys means absolutely nothing unless it serves their purpose. They'll hold you to it, but they don't hold themselves to it. All us dumb Western nations will sign a treaty with them and think we've accomplished something. That's hilarious. Anyway, well, the Baltic nations are getting ready. They're putting up bunker defense lines on the Russian side. They're really concerned that Russia's going to go after them. Whether y'all buy into that or not, that's what they're concerned with. But Putin is citing this when he's talking about in Medvedev, that article I just cited from Medvedev. Hey, they can't fight us conventionally. They'll go nuclear. So watch out. I mean, you see Canadian prep. Why is this article hidden all at once? This is on the stead. This is from a defense website here. There we go. This is from the Department of Defense. So this is a government website, so I can share every word in here because it's not copyrightable. Because it's government. Anyway, it's talking about what's involved in this steadfast defense exercise going on over there. Apparently, there's actually another exercise going on in the Baltics. It's not part of this. There's even more troops, like 20,000 involved in that. So we got about 110,000 troops involved over there right now in various exercises. So 90,000 here, 31 nations, over 50 naval assets, over 80 aircraft. So it's not giving you exact numbers, it's giving you a plus. And, you know, that's a big round number. It won't be exactly 90,000 either. Combat vehicles. All right, so there's a lot of stuff involved in this steadfast defender, guys. So this site is, it's a DOD website, guys. And they're telling you a lot about the different aspects of it here. Some neat pictures, video in here. Be a good place for me to scoop up some pictures and video to use for future videos. Yeah, since this is a government website, I can play it. I can't usually play videos from other websites, but this is free to use. There you go. Steadfast offender. Will it be a war bender? China, Russia, and Iran attempting to illegally acquire U.S. technology? Nah, they wouldn't do that, would they? Yeah. China has built a whole lot of their economy and their defense system on stuff they've stole from us. You go over and put a company in China, they're going to steal everything you got. But what happened to Elon? He put a electric car manufacturing plant in China, and now China's making more electric cars than anybody. Elon's supposed to be one of the smartest people in the world. Why'd you do that, Elon? Holy smoke. You should have known better. I could have told you that. So they copied you and did better. Now, here's the thing, though. China actually graduates more engineers per year than the U.S. graduates lawyers. So once they've instilled the base foundation, the technology, they got a lot of time and money left available to actually engineer more capability into it. Oh, yeah. So China's actually got some breakthrough technology. They're actually developing new technology in a lot of their systems. So you got to watch out for these guys. Some people take them for granted. All their stuff's blah, blah, blah. It's cheaper. It's not as good. The thing is that their J-20 jet might not be as good as our F-22, but it's good enough. It can engage our aircraft. And what's more, we have a limited number. It costs us a lot of money. It takes us a lot of time to manufacture ours. They can make theirs on scale a lot faster. So they can throw a lot more at us, and they can keep building them. We can't. So they can attrit us very fast in a war with them. And it's, we said that it's been said we've only got a few days worth of ammo to fight them. And any war with them, it's going to last longer. Look what's happening in Ukraine. Putin thought it was going to be a 3-hour tour, right? A 3-day tour. Didn't work out like that. So these, we get into it with China, it's going to be a long slugfest, and we're going to run out of slugging on our side. If you're a boxer, you don't want to get winded. You lost, you lose your wind. Well, that's what's going to happen. If we're not careful, we'll lose our wind real fast. Just know how to make tea. Yep, I hear you there. All right. Californian accused of stealing secret U.S. made missile tech to assist China. Well, he was a U.S. citizen, but he had been a Chinese national. Qin Gong is his name. Qin Gong, 57-year-old U.S. citizen who was born in China. Well, we tend to not want to think about such things when we hire people. And, if you got a U.S. citizenship, you're available to get all kinds of clearances. And we do try to vet them somewhat, but there's always that possibility. It's like everything we produce goes over there. I mean, you go to our universities, a lot of the technology comes through our universities at the core level when it gets started out. And the university is populated by people of this category. A lot of my best professors came from there, by the way. One of the best professors at UAH, and he's still there. He taught when I was there, and I believe he's still there. His name was Dr. Fat Ho. That's his name. He was actually taught us transistor logic. And he was one of the professors that could teach well, one of the few. And he had a good sense of humor. He'd have us all laughing. I'm not going to say what it was he had us laughing about, but he had a good sense of humor. For whatever that's worth, I hope his allegiance was with us. It only takes a few out of the many to sell your stuff and get you in a lot of trouble. So even if 99 of them were good, if one of them is willing to support the homeland instead, you might be in trouble. Anyway, a lot of stuff still going on in the Mideast. That U.S. drone strike in Iran took out a leader of those groups there. And that happened in Baghdad, and Iraq is very unhappy about it. They've been screaming about us doing op inside their country like that. Yeah, well, it's like, guys, you've allowed your people in your country to attack us, But we shouldn't have been there in the first place, is my supposition on that, but that's another story. So Iran's got these 2 spy ships down there in the Gulf of Aden and around Yemen. Let's see. And they've been down there for some time. Just next Djibouti. That's the actual name of the country. And it's believed, they just stay there. They don't go anywhere, and it's believed that they're directing the attacks. So one of the first things Iran came out and said about a week ago is, do not attack these ships. Of course, that, I think we probably will. So that was one of their big, supposing big a threshold for them. We'll see what happens. But all this stuff is escalating, guys. But I would think, given this whole thing about Iran's near having a bomb, may be a pretext. The whole reason this stuff may be coming out and getting in the news, it may be a pretext for a bigger war in which Israel, maybe the United States, in combination with them, goes for bombing those facilities in Iran. You can bet then everything's going to start breaking loose. That could be catastrophic. Well, John Jones, if they could come for your food, they might come for anything you got under the Defense Authorization Act, especially if it fits in the stuff they got. Like if it belongs to if it's something if it's kibbles you can feed your pet Nug AR, more so. But then they might just take everything anyway. Declare martial law, and they might just national emergency, all that stuff in combination. They may take you. One thing is I didn't mention that now martial law video was that under the national emergency stuff, the NDAA language, they can actually conscript you, maybe not in the military, but they can conscript you to grow potatoes or clean their mess hall or do whatever labor they want to have done. So they can actually force you to work. So being like a slave. Anyway, guys. So China is having some severe economic problems. Because of that, Xi Jinping may be more enticed to move earlier rather than later. Some people think this means he wouldn't do anything. He may need a distraction. This may be why they may make a move on Taiwan or the Philippines. Might be part of the get it while the getting's good philosophy. So we really got to watch this area, guys. And our economy, everybody's talking about how the economy of Arizona is on the verge of falling. Ours will probably be right behind it. Our economy is like a house of cards on a banana peel. Anyhow, in a windstorm. All right, changing subjects. I don't know if how directly I can talk this without getting in major trouble here, but look at this, guys. They decided not to go after Biden. See where he had these documents in his garage in one case? Yeah, garage. See the garage doors? And in a certain office complex. This one didn't even talk about the garage doors. Special counsel, look at all, decided, and that's Trump stuff there. Special counsel decided not to go after him. Look how they went after Trump. Trump was president. Trump had the privilege to declassify anything. He had the right to have it as president. And there's also a whole tradition about presidential documentation. There's like the presidential library and different things, which has a lot of times included classified documents in the past. So what did Trump do that's out of the ordinary that was illegal? This guy was vice president when these documents were hidden. Some of them in the garage, and this was back in the time when his son, who has such great virtue, was also trading information with the companies tied to the CCP. Oh, yeah. But that's not a problem. Special counsel says there's nothing to worry about here. Does that seem just a little bit two-faced, like the government and the three-letter agencies come down hard if you're on one side of the spectrum, but on the other side of the spectrum, it's okay, you get a pass? Is that the case? They're not supposed to be political. Guys, if you think the three-letter agencies are political, put a 1 in the chat room. If you think this is all A-OK, put a 2 in the chat room. I'd like to see what you guys think about all this. Yeah. Basically what they said was, well, the president's too senile to prosecute. Really? Would that stop him from going after the T-man? What do y'all think? Yeah, I'm not even going to mark this video for monetization because I know they'd spank me if I did it. So I'm not even going to try to mark this one. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Anything I'll do for a super chat would be helpful. But yeah, that's probably that little So all we're going to get tonight, guys, is that little super chat. Because I don't even think I can. I think I'll get in trouble if I even mark. If you mark them and they really don't like it, you're in trouble. Uno, says Brandy. Hey, Dan, Brandy. Good to see you in the house. Got 87 here. Not bad for the late hour, especially after I did another video. Oh, yeah. They did what? They did what? They paid who? Nah, couldn't be. And all this was going on while that was going on. Also, the Burisma stuff with Ukraine. Oh, yeah. That was occurring when these documents was getting squirreled away. Allegedly. Well, the council found them there. But they decided, well, we won't do nothing. We won't do nothing. What did they say? This elderly man with a poor memory. He's good enough to elect president. All that occurred years ago when he was vice president. So can they chalk it up to just a poor memory? I mean, this happened back before Trump was president. So, this was over 7, 8 years ago, at least, at the latest. Actually, further back than then. Wow. He might have had some memory back in those days. I mean, I don't know. They went after they chased down the Germans who had been involved in the camps all the way up till they were in the grave. The poor memory and being senile was no excuse for breaking a crime. I guess it is now. It all depends on where you're at, it seems. I don't know. If he is too senile to get prosecuted, he shouldn't be running for president. There you go, Michelle. Well, that sounds logical. We can't afford logic here. Besides, don't worry about it, because we got a VP in Kamala Harris. Yeah, she'll take over. How do you feel about that? If you like the idea of Kamala Harris being president, I mean, the guy's 81. If he's got so much health issues and memory, what do you think, guys? Here's another federal agency who's decided to demand banks turn in information on transactions if they dealt with or had language that pertained to things like that. Or if you shopped at a Bass Pro Shop or Cabela's. Oh my gosh. Really? I mean, maybe you just want a fishing lure. Is that illegal to go buy a fishing lure? What? I mean, does that not strike you as being a violation of our the numerous items in the Bill of Rights? They don't care about that. They don't care about that at all. Anyway. Yikes, guys. So there you are. What do y'all make of all that stuff? Stop the share. Oh, I was going to do weather over here. Maybe we won't tonight. Anyway, guys, what do you make of that stuff? Is that not crazy? Let's see, I'll put up a website here. What is it? What is it? Well, that was the main news. We're going to come back and look at the weather here in a minute. So, not much different than it was 2 days ago. If you bought a Bible, oh yeah, that was one of them. Yeah, if you bought a Bible, aren't we supposed to have freedom of religion? Wasn't that one of the founding principles of this country? Apparently, that don't matter to some people. But these are the same people that tell you if you put the T-man in that our republic will fall apart. There will be no democracy, as they like to call it. They only use the word democracy. We're not democracy. That's the only word they can use. If we were a democracy, we wouldn't have survived 50 years. The country would have fallen apart before Thomas Jefferson and Adams passed away on the 50th anniversary of the 4th of July. So, yeah, think about that. Just think about it. Another reason they should have left Patton take Germany is get all the scientists under Operation Paperclip. Yeah, the Russians got a bunch of them. The United States got von Braun and some of the better ones, but yeah, they didn't all get away. A lot of them went to Russia, but the ones that went to Russia, a lot of them are more technician type. There were some engineers though. But Korolev led the Russian rocket program. He was a Russian. They got a lot of the technicians and some of the engineers from the V2 project. Now, I knew a historian that wrote a book about it. He went to Russia and interviewed a bunch of the Germans that were over there. He said after they first captured them, they had them doing things like looking at sleds to make them more, calculating the coefficient of drag on the bottom of some skid on a sled to make them more efficient. That's what they were doing at first. That rocket stuff, they were doing just some boneheaded engineering, brute force stuff, lots of that, before they really got into the rockets. So that was kind of Mitch Sharp. He was the guy that wrote that book. Mitchell Sharp. He was an old friend of mine. He passed away a long time ago. We used to sometimes meet over at Conrad Dannenberg's place. Conrad was one time became the program manager for the Saturn V rocket. He developed the injectors that went into the V2 rocket engine. And he developed those based on his prior automotive engineering expertise. So they didn't come from space aliens like a lot of people think. Anyway, yeah, I knew Conrad. I carved his Christmas turkey a few years. So if you want to talk smack about the Germans, come see me. Those were some really nice people. They weren't like a lot of people think they were. No. Anyway, every major empire has failed. Yeah, we may be in line, Bill Brown. We don't have to be, but it's just, I'm going to do a video on green grades. I plan to post it hopefully tomorrow. It may be Saturday. The intention is to talk about another agenda, a bit of a hidden agenda you may not have heard of that may be behind a whole lot of this immigration and other nonsense we're seeing. Yeah, spelled out back in the 1960s. That's where it got spelled out in this. Maybe some of you guys know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to go into it. So there's a lot of crazy stuff, Colorado Jan. Russians also got the Kemp doctors. Oh yeah. Some of those fled to Argentina. So some of the notorious ones. We'll look at the chat. We may do weather here in a minute. 87 room, not bad for the time. Michelle's back to the sea. God's plan. Good morning. Chill Weather's back. John Jones is back. Colorado Jan. Raspberry. That's a great name. Granny. Jason Smith. Bill Bradford. I found the channel. All right, Bill. Thank you. Subscribe. Bang the notification bell and click all. If you're watching this for the first time, you're not subscribed, do subscribe. Bang the notification bell and click all, folks. So Russia always reminds us they have nukes. Yeah, they do. You know what they don't remind us of? Russia has one of the oldest biochem warfare programs in the world. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Russia weaponized smallpox. They made a far more virulent variety they thought would take everybody out. And they actually put it in refrigerated warheads. They were planning to nuke us and then to follow up with a second wave that was just smallpox. They figured after everybody was weak from the radiation, it wiped the country out because Russians at the time were scared. They figured if they nuked the United States, any people that survived would be mad as all heck and would go over there. But we had to canoe across the Bering Strait, that the survivors would go over and whip their rear ends for it. They were scared. They wanted to totally obliterate this country. And maybe they do now. Who knows? Maybe they resurrected some of that stuff. A lot of that stuff was on this island that used to be in what sea was that over there that just not totally dried up. So now that the what was worried a lot of people is when the wall fell, that a lot of your countries over there, Mideast type countries who don't love us too much, might have went in there and got themselves some of that stuff. And there was also a lot of the nuclear facilities that kind of was not secure, somewhat less than absolutely secure, guys. Some of them, the guards just left them, all these facilities. You know, I've seen a lot of strange reports about that kind of stuff. That's why the United States went there and tried to help police a lot of that stuff up when Yeltsin took over. And Yeltsin and the Russians thought we were going to come over and help them, but instead what happened was a lot of our big corporations, the vulture capitalist, was over there picking the bones, trying to pick all the flesh off of the bones of Russia. And that's one of the reasons Putin rose to power, because they got teed off about it, as you can imagine. So we got off on a bad foot with him from the get-go. Let's see. New days. I have this streaming on the lobby TV. I just had a guy stop and watch a few minutes before heading for coffee. He asked, who in the world is that hillbilly you're watching? Tell him it's a high-tech redneck. So that guy's a rocket scientist. Hillbilly. Hey, proud of it. Without mechanized agriculture, the world population returns to 2 billion. It's going to be worse because there's going to be no kind of agriculture, no big ag at all. I've done that video. You know, who's really growing enough gardens? Who's going to survive? It's the people in the countries where they don't do it right now. It's indigenous peoples. And, you know, if the nuclear winter don't wipe them out, or radiation or something else, or biological spreading worldwide from somebody unleashing a bunch of that stuff. Anyway. Let's see here. Sending much love, folks, from Ontario, Canada. Well, thank you, Angela. Let's see. Thank you for sharing that. New Days. The links. Freedom Restoration Foundation. Yes, Cowboy Oral Rogers. Everybody needs to join that. And Cowboy, we may set up on Discord too. That may be a good thing for our group. Once I've learned the ropes of this Discord channel. The Alaska Soul set up with assistance from a lot of other people in here, such as New Days. I think cities are overpopulated. Yeah. Hey, we got super chat. Let's see. We got another one. Let's go down and see who that was from. Let's go down. There we go. Robert Hodges. Well, salute to you, Robert Hodges. I appreciate that. Putin is the smartest psychiatrist in the room. Is he doing what Charlemagne did prior to WWII? Oh, Chamberlain. I read it wrong first. Yeah, I still got a little bit of this ocular migraine going. It's a little bit hard for me to read stuff. Yeah, who knows? Well, Chamberlain actually was Mr. Appeasement. So, but he's a smart guy. He might pull an Austerlitz on us. He is definitely a very smart guy. That's why he wants to school everybody on history. He's trying to get people up on who the Russian people are, where they come from, what it means, why Ukraine was central to them. And, you know, that's why he gives those big, long history lessons. You know, he did that. He's done that several times in the past in a lot of his speeches. So, yeah, thank you, Robert. Let's see what else we missed in here. Probably all I get for this. And it's going to be all because this is so controversial. I should probably just demonetize it, not apply it to be monetized, because they're going to demonetize it if I do anyway. Rogue Robot. Let's see. Joe's been yelling at people. Yeah, swearing on. They say he's done that for a long time. Hillary used to do it a lot too. Hey, Show Maiden, how you doing? Where's the military industrial complex? All right, I see the votes there. Show Maiden says it's because he generally can't remember because he has dementia. It's like getting away with murder because you can't remember because you were drunk. Good analogy. Who's got away from murder because they were drunk? You know, there is such a thing as blacking out or as losing your memory. You can get so much alcohol in you that's going to change your personality. You'll do things you would not ever do in regular life. And the next day, you don't remember it. But that is a problem. But will they let you off the hook for that? And Biden's got some memory, by the way. He's not totally lost his memory. Strange to let him off the hook. But that's what we're going to do anyway. Remember when the story about the laptop came out? What happened? We had that letter signed by over 50 high-level intelligence experts that all said it was a Russian operation, Russian disinformation operation. The problem was they had to admit later it was true. Oh, yeah. So interesting. Interesting. So where's the disinformation really come from? Where does it really come from? Russians got the worst half. Oh, yeah, if they got those, all those doctors that work with Mengele, yeah, they probably got those. See, von Braun got his best and brightest together, and he actually left the area and had a rendezvous point with American forces. Russians got the rest. Yeah, the Patton had made him roll through like he wanted to, but Patton wanted to take too much. They were always holding Patton back. They cut his fuel supplies in World War II. My dad talked about that even before they made the movie on Patton. He said they cut those fuel supplies so British Field Marshal Montgomery could get some credit for something. Let him do something instead of Patton. Yeah, that's not the way to fight a war. All the American troops, my dad loved Patton. He thought real highly of him. He really respected the stuff he did. And then they held him back. And then what happened to him? What happened to Patton? Good question. Russia was the first in orbiting satellite, the first man in space. Oh yeah. Well, yeah, they got their share. But Korolev was in charge of that program at first. Yeah, he did escape probably to Argentina. How come you never met Russian tourists anywhere? How come you never met Russian tourists anywhere ever? Well, I know some Russians that came to the United States. I met a few over here. I met some here. But I've been to Moscow. I actually met the guys who worked on the lander that landed on Venus. That was an engineering feat, and nobody else has done that since. Thank you for sharing my link there, prepwithgreg.com, Rodney. C93. I got 100 watching now. That's great. Appreciate that, folks. So Putin throws his own motivations for acts of historical figures. He's hard to watch. Well, he's going to put his own spin on things, of course. Did they actually find him, Dr. Jekyll? I think they found evidence of it later. There's a lot of allegations. He hid pretty well. Oh, I just bring him what's in the goodies. But shipping would kill me. You're out of bubble gum. All right, I admire General Honorary. Hurricane Katrina. What? Let's see. Patton figured out what was going on. Oh yeah, Patton was smart. His dad was his granddad. Okay, was a Confederate general. Robert E. Lee's dad, or maybe his granddad, was a general in the Revolutionary War. I have to go back and double check the actual lineage. Let's see, Alan Mirier Jensen. That's Operation Paper Cup. Hey, Jerry Can won the war. I'm in Thailand. Tons of Russian tourists. Hey, Mike, how's Thailand? Yeah, well, maybe they don't go to the UK. Show maiden. Maybe they just don't go to the UK. All right, Freedom Restoration Foundation Action Alert. Yeah, check the Action Alert out, folks, that Roy did on his channel. And subscribe to Roy's channel, by the way. Roy needs some more viewers. He's a good guy. Cowboy Roy Rogers. Check his channel out. Subscribe to Cowboy Roy Rogers. All right, time to hit the highway. Yeah, that's what he does. He's a trucker. Let's look at the weather real quick, then we're going to go for the night. How long have we been in the room here? 54 minutes. That's just about long enough. So I don't know if we're going to spend a long time with the weather. It's already 4:18. Not a long time, guys. We'll just kind of take a glance at it. And we see the snow here in southwest Utah. Great Atlanta's got some snow. Colorado, Jen, you probably got some snow. We got some snow in northern New Mexico. We got a little bit here in eastern Arizona, northeast Arizona. I'm curious. It's probably around St. John's, maybe north of St. John's. I think it's north of St. John's. Oh, yeah, it's north of Holbrook. Yeah, St. John's is down here. All right, so Holbrook's 28. Oh, yeah, it's going to be below freezing and snowflake too then. And I'm in the 50s, so a lot warmer here. Wow, even Phoenix is colder than Huntsville and Tucson, in case Cowgirl in Arizona is with us. Wow, look at that. That's rare. Phoenix and Tucson both being cooler than Hunts Patch. That's really rare. Yikes. Oklahoma's in the 40s, 50s in Texas, except Amarillo's in the 40s. And New Days is in the teens, low teens, 12 degrees up there. Brian Perendi territory is in the 20s. Jason Smith is in the teens and 20s up in Alberta. Grand Prairie's 5. Oh, that looks a little bit chilly. Lots of snow moving east there. We'll go up to Alaska, and then we'll go down. We'll look at Great Britain here in a minute. Down under. Delta Junction, 7 degrees. Fairbanks, 3. Anchorage, 25. Homer, 34. Valdez, 23. Wasilla. I'll get some people here from Wasilla. Wasilla's 30. A little bit of snow in southern Alaska. We'll go down to the down under and back over to Great Britain. Summertime down here, folks. How is 66 for summer weather in Melbourne? 70 in the capital city, Canberra. That's nice and cozy. 71 in Sydney. Perth is 97. Kind of warm there. Alice Springs, 95. Warburton, 98. I don't see any hundreds. You got some hundreds out there that I'm not seeing, Rodney? Weepaw. Weepaw is usually 80 to 82 degrees. They don't vary a whole lot there at Weepaw. Summer, winter, whatever. It's in the tropics. So you go from down here, which faces Antarctica, and you go up here, you're in the tropics. Australia's a big island. It's a continent, of course. And New Zealand. I guess sometimes we used to get people from New Zealand in the house. 55 in Dundee, Christchurch is 61. How's that for summer weather? New Plymouth, 77. And a balmy 70 up in Auckland. All right, let's switch over to England. We got about here in the house in Norway tonight. Sometimes we get Norwegians. Beirut, 64. Ankla's 50. Minsk is 26. Moscow is 8 degrees. So Tucker and Putin are sitting at 8 degrees. There's snow around there. Oslo's 7. Over here, it's, I don't know how you say that. Stavanger, 25. That's usually one of the warmest points. At 35 in Denmark. All right, whole England's 46. London's 52. Dublin's 43. Dingle's 46. And up in Scotland, 35 in Emirates. Glasgow's 37. It snowed yesterday. School was closed. My daughter cried this morning because the snow was gone before they had a chance to make a snowman. Oh, Lord. Yeah, I don't imagine y'all don't get too much snow there in England, do you? Kind of like Alabama, probably. Although we had it for a whole week here a couple weeks ago. There we are. Leeds is 37 here. It's 52 in London, but you get up here, it's in the 30s. Big difference, 34 up there. That's on the Scotland side, I believe. Yep. Anyway, how come it don't show the borders for Scotland and Wales? You got a border for Northern Ireland. Of course, that's the difference between the United Kingdom and our nation of Ireland. Is a national border. Well, there's definitely snow in Scotland. Maybe you should just take a trip north, Shield Maiden. Alrighty, folks, that's enough weather for tonight. Stop the share. All right, we got a few different folks in the house than we had earlier. So everybody let it roll. Where are you from? We're about to call it a night. All right, folks, where are you from? Randy's in the house. He's arrived late and spontaneously. Oh, you used to get snow. Okay. All right, folks. Denmark. Oh, I did cover Denmark with the weather. All right, good. Alan Mayer Jensen. Got Carolinas, Dr. Jekyll. Utah, Granny. Trisha's in Michigan. Chewy weather. Hillsboro, West Wokistan. Yeah, if you watch my videos, you know what he's talking about there. Jesse Wilson. Northeast Pennsylvania. Australia, Francesca. Well, we got another from Australia. Whitby, Ontario, Canada. Chicken Town. How you doing, AB? Chicken Town. I think where I went to high school was a Chicken Town, Albertville. Salamander Jones, Oklahoma. Okie, Seattle, Robert Hodges. Area 51, says Jason. That's his user response. Tracy's from Central Ohio. Virginia, VB is you close to Charlottesville? Where's VB? Charlottesville. What is that up? Roanoke area. You close there? What's that school over there? I don't know. Is it close to Roanoke? Western Virginia? Not West Virginia, but Western Virginia. I'm not sure though. What's VB? Randy laughing at Jason. Yeah. Eat more chicken. There you go, Jason. Oz. Hey, Rodney. Nat Ureta, Colorado. Hey, Jan. Margaritaville. Yeah, you're way down south. That would be Margaritaville, Randy. Virginia Beach. Okay. Well, I was on the wrong side of the state. Virginia Beach. All right. Virginia Beach. Does anybody else have that crazy beeping that almost sounded like a jamming signal? Well, I don't know. I got tinnitus. My ears ring. You're worldwide, Greg. Yeah. Texas. Yeah, we get people around the world here. Yeah, they did. And it's that crazy, Jason. Alrighty, folks. Hey, thank you, Super Chatters. I appreciate y'all tonight. You're about the only way I get anything on this platform. It's one reason to go live with some of this stuff. Anyway, folks, I really appreciate everybody for being here. So thank you, Super Chatters. Thank you, mods. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And to one and all, a good night or a good morning